Man, I can't believe we have a 1 in 34 chance of a shiny appearing in front of us.
1 in 34? Back in my day, we had to wander into tall grass with our eyes closed.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't know what we were fighting until it hit us in the face.
But what about if it was shiny?
We had 1 in 4,000 odds, and there was no way to enhance it or even know what Pokemon it was until we were in combat.
Yeah, and I bet you walked to school uphill both ways. Ladies, gentlemen, and trainers of all ages, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are wonderful games, are they not? Full of never-ending surprises and gifts to be found. Of course, there's the story itself, there's the obvious stuff that's in the game, of course, but there are also tons of hidden little bits of this game that you may never realize are even there unless you actively seek them out. And so, of course, today we have another set of things that you didn't know about in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This mostly serves as a vehicle for tips, tricks, and other such things, like just tiny little details snuck into the game that will make you appreciate it that little bit more if you know about them. Without further ado then, let's get going with something that you may well know, but mostly only if you've decided to do the classes in the Academy. I know a number of people have done them, but the vast majority of the player base just seems to have skipped these, so it's useful information if you didn't know about it. There are actually 10 significant landmarks around the map of Paldea, known as the 10 Sites of Paldea, that are just a cool place to be and look around, as well as providing extra fast travel points that are quite useful to have around, especially some that are in somewhat out of the way places, and as such make it quite a bit easier to get wherever you're going if you want to do something in that area. On top of that, as a little bonus, every one of these places has a free roaming Gimmighoul coin to be captured as well. Specifically, you learn about these as part of the art classes, but you don't have to do the classes to find them, and doing the classes doesn't give you markers on your map or anything like that, so if all you care about is the locations themselves for the fast travels, the little Gimmighoul coins you can get there, then just follow the information here, given to us by the lovely Shradnoun, a good friend of mine. First up, and probably the most useful as a fast travel spot, is the Gracious Stones landmark. This is located directly here in just about the most northwestern point on the map. Simply walk up to the sign right here and get close enough for the chat box to pop up, and now you can fast travel here whenever you want to. Next up, a bit east of here at the edge of Casaroya Lake, is the Casaroya Falls landmark, where the waterfall comes down the mountain. Then just up the cliff and east is Glacedo's Grasp. This is just a cool little structure on the mountain that is just a big pointy bit of ice that goes quite high up. After that, still on the mountain, is the highest peak, the most elevated point on the map as a whole. Then moving east, we have Fury Falls, another waterfall base location.
I love water.
Then just west of Levincia, we have the Million Volt Skyline spot. In the very southeast of the map on this tiny beach down here is the, well, secluded beach landmark. Just northeast of Cortondo, the city with the bug gym, you will find the Grand Olive Orchard location right here. Then southwest of that is the Leaking Tower of Paldea, which is a hilarious take on the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Finally then for landmarks is this sort of cave just north of the desert, Colonnade Hollow. Again, all you have to do is go to each of these locations and get close enough to the sign for the chat box to pop up, and bam, 10 whole new fast travel locations all across the map, making it easier to get wherever you want to be at any given time. Next up then, let's have a talk about a very commonly enjoyed activity of many Pokemon trainers, which of course is shinies and shiny hunting. We'll have an actual specific farming location in a minute, but first let's go over all the ways that you can control the odds of making a shiny appear, as the fun part is if you use every single thing in Scarlet and Violet that they have to offer, you can actually make it as high a chance as 1 in 34 that a shiny Pokemon will be on your screen. Yes, 1 in 34, you heard that right. Specifically, this is just stacking every available bonus within the games. First up is of course the Shiny Charm. You get this once you've completed the entire Pokedex for the region, and this makes your odds of finding a shiny Pokemon 3 times better pretty much just permanently. And of course this stacks with other methods of boosting chances. Then we have Sparkling Power Sandwiches. These are well known, and a Sparkling Power level 3 sandwich will make it 4 times likely that a Pokemon of the matching type that spawns near you will be a shiny while your buff is active. If we take both of those then and then stack them with Mass Outbreaks, it gets downright magical. A Mass Outbreak is a surge of spawns for specific Pokemon. You see them all around your map and they update every day. In the past we've gone over a couple of methods for controlling the Pokemon that will spawn in your Mass Outbreaks, and once in a Mass Outbreak area, the only Pokemon that will spawn there are the specific Outbreak ones. And as you defeat these Pokemon, it actually raises the chances of one of their spawns being a shiny. Specifically what you want to aim for is exactly 60 60 defeated Pokemon, as this will give you a 3 times chance of any of the Pokemon within the Outbreak area spawning as a shiny. The way that this specifically works is whenever a Pokemon spawns, it will roll the RNG to see if it's a shiny. Each method of boosting shiny chances will add rolls. So when I say it's 3 times as likely as normal to spawn a shiny, I mean each time a Pokemon spawns, it will roll 3 times instead of 1. And if one of those is a shiny, that's what you'll get on your screen. So if we add all of these together, the shiny charm is an extra 2 rolls, the Outbreak at 60 defeats is an extra 2 rolls, and the Sparkling Power Sandwich level 3 is an extra 3 rolls, which in total is 7 bonus rolls on top of the default 1, or as far as you'll actually see in the game, this means these together give you 8 times the normal chances of seeing a shiny, which is the equivalent of 1 in every 512 or so Pokemon spawns. Add in the fact that you get 15 Pokemon on your screen at any given time before you reset, and we can shove that down even further to say that every time you reset the Pokemon in front of you, in this ideal situation that we created here, you have a 1 in 34 chance of having one of these Pokemon be shiny. That is nuts. It has never been easier to farm shinies in a Pokemon game before than it is in Scarlet and Violet, and this is the undeniable mathematical proof of that right in front of you in action. With that in mind, all you have to do is find an Outbreak for a Pokemon that you want the shiny of, go there, kill 60 of them, then eat a sandwich and sit there doing picnic resets until your desired reward appears in front of your face. Easy, right?
Shiny.
Now for a quick break before we dive into the proper shiny farm location today, let's talk a little bit about Baxcalibur, the pseudo-legendary of this game. Personally, I'm quite a fan of him. I know a lot of people think he looks a little bit janky, but honestly that's sort of part of his charm, specifically because he's based around Godzilla, but not newfangled CGI-filled Godzilla that just looks like an actual monster, but the golden age of Godzilla back in the day with all the low-budget stuff where it was just a guy in a suit pretending to be a giant lizard monster, and that really shines through when you think of it like that. But did you know that the signature move of this Pokemon has an actual specific Godzilla movie reference? Thanks specifically to Reddit user Kairopta for pointing this out, but the Greavard move, its signature move that many players have just called straight up silly, actually has a reason for looking exactly how it does. Specifically, it is this hilarious clip in Godzilla vs. Megalon, where Godzilla just does a straight up drop kick being carried on wires through the air without movement. It looks so damn awkward and absolutely silly and ridiculous, and it totally explains the existence of Glaive Rush and the way that it looks, and honestly, as a whole, I adore this. Then finally today, let's talk about that specific shiny farming location that I mentioned before, one that happens to be relevant to 2 of the other things that we've talked about today. First up, the specific spot is actually right next to Glacedo's Grasp, one of the 10 sites of Paldea that we went over earlier. Specifically from here, you want to go slightly west to this sort of outcropping with a rock on it, and set up just barely in front of the rock. This way, no Pokemon can spawn in behind you because it's just too close to you. From here, just stick up your picnic and make a sandwich correlated to your desired target. In this spot, you can create 8 different isolated encounters and 1 semi-isolated encounter, so this lets you farm 10 different types of shiny Pokemon depending on what you actually want. And for reference, these are Dragon for Frigibax, the pre-evolution of Baxcalibur that we talked about before, a Dark Shiny and Encounter Sandwich will make only Sneasel spawn here, an Electric Sandwich will make only Magnemite and Magneton spawn, a Psychic Shiny and Encounter Sandwich will give you only Bronzong, a Fighting Shiny Encounter Sandwich will give you only Crabrawlers, a Fairy Sandwich will make only Ralts and Gardevoir spawn, a Flying Sparkling Encounter Sandwich will make only Delibird pop up, a Normal Sandwich will make only Deerling and Sawsbuck spawn in the winter form, and then finally if you have a Ghost Sandwich you will get a mix of both Greavard, the pre-evolution to Houndstone, and also Frostlass will spawn in too. So there you go, just eat the correct sandwich for the target that you wish to hunt, then go out and get them for yourself. And that'll do it for today everyone, a number of things that you probably didn't know about in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, at least to the level of detail that we've gone into them here. I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope it has somehow managed to enhance your continued journey with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Of course, if you know of any strange or lesser known things like these, feel free to stick them down in the comments and we'll share them with everyone, as well as a shout out to the person who told us. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.